A few weeks back, I started a Getting to Know Me series of some sort. Although I didn't call it that, actually, if I think about it now. I called it my Introvert Life because that's the aspect of my life I actually did write about in depth in my book. So today I'm going to continue reading from that chapter in my book that I released in 2017 called Anchors of Encouragement. Alright? That chapter of my book focuses on my introvert nature, and I dedicated that chapter solely to introducing people to that side of my life and the way it affects me and the world around me. I got through about 2 or 4 paragraphs in my parts 1 and 2 series, and I still have quite a bit to go, as that chapter alone has about 12 pages. 12 whopping pages. It is the longest chapter in my book because I just had a lot to say, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to get ready now, and then we'll start. And I hope to keep it short again, as always. And I hope you'll enjoy listening. Thank you for tuning in again today. This is Insights with Chipo. Let's get into it.
I'm so lucky I can conquer the world. There's so much love in the air. I'm so lucky, wanna shout it all out. We're gonna find our way. This lucky day. I'm so lucky I can conquer the world. There's so much love in the air. I'm so lucky, wanna shout it all out. We're gonna find our way. This lucky day.
So I'm going to start reading from the paragraph I've titled My Nearest and Dearest, okay? I'm quite close to only a handful of people in my life, and they mean the world to me. They really do. Either because they understand me and have accepted me just as I am, or better still, they are introverts like myself, and therefore the mutual understanding and acceptance is a given. We're never upset with each other because we don't burden the relationship with any social conform standards, nor do we impede its progression with the kind of expectations the outside world demands of us. We understand how we tick. We understand that solitude and personal space is what we thrive on, so we build and maintain our friendship on that basis. Our social outings are based on mutual understanding, and we have great fun doing the things extroverts will do too within the set parameters. The next subheading is friendships. And I said, coming from a Nigerian culture, I grew up with people who love living life loud and non-stop. And this greatly hampered the cultivation of friendships for me, as everyone I knew was either a social butterfly or a party animal. A party animal, okay. The people loved to, and still do, throw parties to celebrate any life event you can imagine under the sun, in an unconventional and stupendous way that it's become an industry of its own. I don't even know what I meant by that. Okay. I really do think we throw the best and longest parties in the world, and if I was an extrovert, I would never miss an invite to one. True. But I'm not, and thank goodness for that. I couldn't survive living my life like that, God knows. Now, before I relocated to Germany in my early 20s, not 30s, most of the Nigerian friendships I tried to cultivate did not last at all, mainly because I could not keep up with the pace of their ever-bubbling social life. And since I did not want to disappoint them any further, I went into hibernation, like forever. A few of the friendships that survived are currently on life support. Oh my God. Barely hanging in there, I'd say, LOL. But this is so true, honestly. We know where we're at, and every once in a while, they call. And if I'm mentally prepared and have enough stored up mental energy for the call, I pick. And we then chat for a bit as if we never grew apart. And if I'm not ready, I text them back, asking them to text me instead. I'm okay with it, and so are they, I reckon. They don't really get me, but more in an understanding and considerate kind of way. So they hang in there. I've got a really lovely picture quote under this paragraph that yeah, I'll put it up later. I'll put it up in the video. Okay. Now the next paragraph is called My Corporate World. One of my regrets in life is that I did not come to understand who I was sooner, so to nurture it. I would have done things differently and in some areas of my life made well-informed choices perhaps. There are chapters of my life with pages badly creased from painful memories of past events that bear indelible scars as consequences of me trying to be someone else just to please others. I cannot really blame anyone for what I allowed them put me through for lack of understanding, okay? After all, I did not know better then either. In my corporate professional life, for example, where I faced many challenges, I used to be a teacher before I became a lawyer, and in both professions my personality clashed with the responsibilities they each carried and carry. They still carry anyway. Don't get me wrong, okay? I love what I do now and loved teaching back then as well. But I just wish I had better understood how to deal with the conflicts that came as a result of my personality. Yeah. As a lawyer now, I am able to manage things better and no longer, for example, desire to go right back home barely after arriving at work. Oh my God, LOL. Although I learned well from an early age to pretend to be an extrovert, but with better management, I no longer feel that need to pretend to be who I'm not. That's a good one. I just plan my day at work with minimal external people stimulation, if I can help it. All right? If not, I use my lunchtime to recharge and recover. Okay, I'm going on to the next page, and the title of this paragraph is One Little Damper. Okay, I'll confess right now that some of my introvert qualities are quite annoying to even me. For example, I find that when I begrudgingly make appointments, I don't bother to show up if I can help it. Okay, I know that's really bad, all right? So I'm working on it. All right, so I'll go on. I have in the past even missed job interviews because I did not feel like being around anyone that day. In my particular case, I get really nervous about making appointments because I know that the probability of me not honoring them is very high. However, if I like you a lot, I would not want to disappoint you, in which case I would go ahead and make the appointment and do my best to keep it. Yeah. I then literally have to start preparing myself emotionally and mentally way ahead of the day and time, because I know that come that day, I will not want to go at all. This is so true, and it still happens. It's a terrible thing, and it's the one damper on my introvert lifestyle I wish I could change, to be honest, okay? I used to be tortured by thoughts of opportunities I might have missed as a result of this, but God confuted my worries using the story of the man by the pool of Bethesda in the book of John chapter 5:5-7, which I already briefly mentioned in page 32 and will shortly be discussing in the next 2 pages. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't remember ever bringing in any Bible chapters to explain my personality and my nature, but this is really interesting because I haven't really read my book, since I released it in 2017. I think it's a thing a lot of authors do. They write their books and they don't read it again. With the next paragraph, and I've titled this one Not an Option. Now, God knows our personalities so well, and He knows how to get us to a blessing or away from a dangerous decision if we're willing to yield completely to Him, notwithstanding the challenges we may pose to ourselves. Before I came to understand who I am and why I do things the way I do them, there were many occasions where I was invited to perform and earn some good money, but passed up because I did not feel like going. People who did not know my daily struggles of not wanting to do back-to-back gigs that unavoidably meant facing a crowd all the time and being drained by the overstimulation it comes with, simply concluded that the devil was after my success in life. You see, I was not only losing money, but I was losing out on destiny-changing opportunities, they said. I agreed to an extent, mainly for peace sake and to avoid further draining long conversations. But because I knew that I sincerely could not manage being around people for so long and could not always help it, I trusted that God would not allow me miss out on what was truly mine because of this. All right, the next paragraph says, mixed opportunities are oxymorons. I wonder what I wrote in this one. Let's read. I rest in the knowledge that God knows how to get me to where He wants me to be when He wants me to be there for a purpose. I have seen Him work it out for me like that many times before, so I know that whatever He has for me will never miss me. Amen. But will find me in good time when I am able to handle it and the environment it comes with. I don't believe in that absolute theory of missed opportunities. That phrase to me is just an oxymoron because an opportunity is time specific and cannot be considered missed if it was never your time or your season for it in the first place. And I reference Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8. When you understand it that way, you'll know that just because an opportunity presented itself at an unaccepting time of your life, where the circumstances around you were not right, and you were not ready or better organized to handle it, does not mean it will not come around again. It wasn't missed in that sense. It just wasn't yours at that time. These so-called missed opportunities are not only time specific, like I said earlier, but with God, they are also blessings preserved in time. Wow, that's a good one. I can't believe I wrote that. Okay, moving on. You cannot get them before the appointed time, nor miss out on them at the appointed time either. Except, of course, you were completely disconnected and walking in disobedience. But that's another topic for my next book, LOL. All right, I'm going to read this last paragraph and then we'll stop for today. This paragraph is titled Readiness. Now, readiness is key to all, I say, all right? You don't give your toddler a car just because you can afford to buy them one. They would not know how to drive it nor maintain it for that matter, and therefore such a gift would be a deadly one in their hands. On that premise, God was thoroughly dealing with my personality behind the scenes and walking me through conquering some of the problems the more serious traits of my personality attracted, because if left unchecked, it could ruin me and others too. It would not only have consequences for me, but for whomever He needed to reach through my obedience to His instruction as well. Yeah. A simple obedience could avert a tragedy because someone or something is always dependent on every decision we make or fail to take. I'm reminded of Esther in the book of Esther, who in chapter 4 verse 14 obeyed Mordecai and took the divine opportunity to boldly approach the king to secure deliverance for her people. This opportunity exalted her beyond all expectations because it was not for her own sake alone, but was a part of God's divine plan. God had made Esther for this very purpose. Wow. Let me now introduce you to an introvert Bible character who was used by God in such a profound way that the ripples of His acts are still felt today. Wow. I'm going to stop here today. Okay, I covered quite a bit, I think. I don't want to make this video too long, like I said already. So it's been really interesting. I'll be honest. It's just taking me down memory lane, of what I was feeling and what I was thinking when I was writing this chapter of my life, basically. And I remember now I did do some research on some introvert Bible characters, and yeah, that's why I put them in there. I think the next introvert personality I'm going to be bringing into my book is Moses. Yeah, because I remember reading up on him, and I was quite fascinated by some of the things I found out about him. So yeah, in the next paragraph, we're going to be reading a bit about Moses, or what I wrote about Moses and his introvert character and his introvert lifestyle. So thank you very much for tuning in again today and listening to me. And I hope some of the things I'm telling you, if you know me personally, some of the things I'm telling you will explain me a bit better to you now. Okay, or if you don't know me and you're planning on meeting me one day, you will be prepared. You'll be better prepared to deal with me and my craziness, okay? But truly, I'm a wonderful, loving, sweet person. So I don't think I'm going to be too much of a bad person to be around, all right? I'm just an introvert, and it's the way I've always been. So writing this chapter was very important for me. It was very empowering and very it was revealing, and it just, I felt free. It gave me freedom, you know. Okay, so I'm going to stop now, because if I don't stop, I'm just going to go on. That's me. I just talk, all right? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like the video, give me a shout out, you know, please like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And you know what, if you're an introvert and you've watched my video, you've watched part 1 or part 2, or you've only watched just part 3, this is part 3, please let me know how you deal with your own introvert lifestyle. How has it affected you? How do you manage it? I'd love to hear from you, okay? So I really would appreciate you dropping me a line or two about that, okay? So let me go now. Have a lovely day. God bless you, and bye.